Today I'm going to show you how to assemble your Lead Chemist from Wattos Junkyard. Let's have a look-see. So first we're going to pop open the box, and there are two different versions of this. They're basically the same with the difference of a trigger. The trigger changes between two versions. You have one with an open trigger here, so the bottom is open, and your second one, which I've already assembled, if you got a pair, has this closed trigger. If you've only gotten one, you may have one or the other. So let's go ahead and get this box unpacked. So here we have our certificate of authenticity from Wattos Junkyard. Nice little addition they throw in there. Got some goodies, a card, and a patch. So let's get this kit set out. A couple baggies with our parts. We have our brass tube and our main tube, our nozzle, multi-part end cap, pommel, neck for the pommel, a neck for this. Come on out of there. And our handle. Box done. Okay, so now everything you need to assemble this is all within this little baggie here. You're going to have two different size hex tools. You have a little acrylic disc. You have some screws. You may be confused by these at first. It's easy enough once you sort them out. You have two with these cylinder heads, three with a button head, and then you have these two big ones, two different lengths. You'll see how they made these work. And then don't lose it. You have it in here. Also, you have a little tiny spring for your trigger. And we also have our custom brass screw. Okay, so now our first step is you want to twist this piece until you see the holes and the slot line up. So if you pull this open, you can see it has a little slot here, a pass through, and then two thread holes. So you'll slide this in, and if it's off base, whatever, you just twist it. Next time, you gotta put this slip over, and this slip over and matches the holes. So you have your two screw holes and then your pass through for your wiring. Now the tricky part is holding these while you put this on. So if you can see here, you have two holes in the top of your grip, and those match up with these holes as well. So what you have to do is you have to hold all this steady and aligned. There we go. Now this is when you're going to use your two cylinder head screws. Just drop one in. You're going to use your big hex key and just get it in there. Maybe you got to wiggle it about a little bit to get the alignment correct. And if you are aligned, you'll feel it bite in there, and now you're set. Second screw goes in the hole. This one's a little deeper, a little bit harder to get to. Drop that down, spin it around. We're talking about aluminum. You don't need to do too crazy tight. Just give it some nice finger tight. Bam. Nearly there. Next piece we want to go to is you have, this is going to thread right in here. part of your end cap. You can get it right. There we go. Bam, done. Next piece comes your pommel. And this already has the little brass nut on the end pre-threaded. There's a little tiny nut inside of there, or screw and nut. If you're not, then you can just do that yourself. Done here. Now you have your front nozzle and your little acrylic cap. If you're going to do installation on it, this can go inside of the nose and sit in there, and you can glue it in if you need, or glue it to the internal part where it connects, where your LED is going to come. You could push it all the way through. If you see, this channel here is pretty long. Yep. You can also unscrew this if you really like to, for whatever reason. But you can glue your little piece down in here like that, if you so desire. So let's get this back on and do the final touches here. So now now that you've got the handle on, you can do your trigger assembly. You can't do the trigger assembly till your handle is on. Now if you look inside of here, you've got a big hole, small threaded hole. So what you want to do, take your little springy and put it into the big hole, and it just sits there. Then your trigger, you're going to see this big key here is going to match up with the key in here. That's going to keep it in place. So you'll put it up against this spring, push it down, get it in place, and there you got it. And this gives you a little bit of motion back and forth. Now, keeping that whole trigger unit from falling out is this piece. This piece simply goes in, and I push the trigger in, you don't really need to, and then you just hand tighten this. Give it some wiggles, make sure you got threaded right, and now your piece will be in there. Pew pew. Last but not least is our neck here to put this on. Now it sits at an angle, and you got to put it down in there, and you'll see it's directional. So if you put it in this way and your holes line up, it's going to stick out too far. Flip it the correct way, holes line up, and it's perfectly balanced front to back, nothing sticking out. So now you can, if you can see here, with these holes, one side is threaded and one is not threaded. This is the unthreaded side. This is the threaded side. Threaded side is a little bit smaller because of the threads. So what we're going to do, we're going to put this piece in, and then you're going to take your big long screw. That passes through this side into the neck, and then get your other hex screw, and you want to tighten it down. So now this neck here is held in with this piece. And the other screw is simply, for looks, to balance that out as they were on the prop. And this just goes into the remaining threads to close it up. Okay, last but not least, we're going to be connecting the pommel. That's your last three pieces. Oh, that's the small key we got to use. Oh, put that on camera. And that's pretty straightforward. 3 screws, easy to put in. And then you're done. Fully assembled, motion trigger. You're going to have your little switch in the back there if you're doing it with electronics, or the switch in the top. And there There you go. Beautiful.